Hello YouTube, welcome to another one of my Duel Links videos. So today I have for you a Dark Voltanis deck. I've been wanting to make a deck around this card for a really long time. If you're not familiar with it, it's an 8-star fairy monster that you can special summon after you activate one counter trap on your side of the field, and but you also have to tribute a dark monster from your field, and if you special summon it that way, you can destroy one card on the field. So it's a little hard to pull off, it's very specific, but I really wanted to try to make a deck that would consistently get it out. So I'm running Gravekeepers because they're all dark monsters and they're a really strong engine on their own. And that's the reason why this deck was actually very successful. In the beginning, I was only using 2 Voltanis, and I believe I had an extra Jester, and the deck was winning a lot, but the only problem was that I wasn't seeing the monster. I was just like I was running a regular Gravekeeper. So instead I changed to 3, just because I wanted to see it more, because that's what the deck is supposed to be about, and that's what I want to show you guys. So anyway, we use the skill balance because we have 5 counter traps, and that guarantees that we'll see 1 in our starting hands. I run 3 Reroku Field. It's a really good card. It gets triggered by Order to Charge, by enemy controller, by Soul Exchange, by any equip spell. So it covers a lot of ground, and the way I summon Voltanis, it uses a lot of your resources, but basically you negate your own spell, mainly Soul Exchange, sometimes enemy controller, so that you can special summon it from your hand. The cool thing about Recruiter is that if he's the monster that you're tributing, you're still gonna search a card off of him, so it kind of replaces itself, and it helps mitigate those resources a little bit. The other 2 traps are Magic Drain for spell negation and Divine Wrath for monster effect. And for spells, I have 2 Soul Exchange, again because they can trigger off your Reroku Field. It also pairs well with Chief, 1 double summon, and 1 enemy controller. So let's go ahead and show you the replays, and I can explain kind of what the thought process on the plays are. This first replay we're going against the Kaiba. I can't remember this duels that well because, like I said, I had to duel a lot to be able to see the monster enough to where I could summon it, but as a deck it functions pretty well, just because counter traps are so strong, and Gravekeepers is already strong as a deck. So I start with Divine Red, double summon, we got the boss monster, and a Recruiter. So I set my counter trap and Recruiter face down. He goes for Gear Freed, sets 2 back row, destroys my Recruiter, which is fine. I search another Recruiter just to thin my deck, because that's really the only play I have at the moment. And I draw into a Reroku Field, so I just have to set my Recruiter and wait some more. So this was funny. He summoned Cyber Raider. Even though there are no equip spells on the field, his effect still triggers. So I'm able to activate Divine Wrath, pitch in the double summon from my hand. Unfortunately for me, he activates Mikizor. However, I'm able to respond with Voltanis as a chain link too. So before he gets to destroy my Recruiter, I'm able to tribute it and special summon my Voltanis. and then I get to destroy one of his cards, which I go for the gear free. And like I was telling you before, that resource I had to dump, I get it right back with Recruiter. So in my opinion, it was a pretty fair trade-off. I did spend 3 cards, but now I have a 2800 beater, and my opponent lost 3 cards in the process. So I summon my Recruiter, attack for 1200, and then attack for 2800 with Voltanis. I have Riryoku Field to protect it from any enemy controller, something like that, and I have a Soul Exchange in hand. So I get my econ, doesn't matter, I attack for game, my opponent didn't do anything, and that's game 1. So the second game was pretty interesting. I was gonna surrender right away, because at this point I was only running 2 Voltanis, and as you can see from the deck list, there's no spell or trap card destruction, and this Thea is running the balloon stall or balloon deck out, whatever you want to call it, and she goes crazy turn 1, you'll see. So she's running Duel Standby.
I'm ready to duel.
She goes for Wonder Balloons, activates Magic Reflector. So now I need to destroy. You essentially have to destroy the Wonder Balloons twice before it actually goes off the field. So she searches 2 Thunder Dragon, and then ditches all those 4 cards to the graveyard, immediately getting 4 counters on Wonder Balloons. At this point I thought about surrendering, but I did draw into Dark Voltanis, so I was like, I have 2 in the deck, maybe I get lucky and I get both, and I can destroy that Wonder Balloons. So she goes, just draws a card, pitches it to the graveyard to get a counter up on the Wonder Balloons. I keep setting my monsters because I don't have a way to trigger my Magic Drain, or I'm waiting for her to activate something so I can trigger my Magic Drain. So at this point I'm just drawing. She's just pitching whatever comes to her hand to the grave. Again I draw in my turn, and she keeps just racking up the counters on those Wonder Balloons. It's a very annoying deck. I have to start discarding from my hand because I literally have nothing I can do. If I summon anything, my monster is going to be super weak. So here it goes. She goes for Magic Reflector. I'm able to activate my Magic Drain, negate the effect, summoning my Dark Voltanis, and there goes the protection for the Wonder Balloons. So now I'm able to destroy it if I get the second Dark Voltanis. But like I was telling you, in this particular deck, I only had 2, so I had to draw it in the 8 cards that I had left. However, I did draw into Riryoku Field, which is gonna allow me to negate my Soul Exchange or my enemy controller. She goes for Jar of Avarice, putting 2 Magic Reflector back into her deck and drawing 1. So at this point it was a race between who could draw their out first. If she drew into Magic Reflector, I would have lost. I needed to draw into my Dark Voltanis before she did that. So she activates Spell Absorption, doesn't change anything, and ditches the Wonder Balloons in her hand for another counter. And there it is, my second Dark Voltanis. I activate Soul Exchange, negate it with my own Riryoku Field, and also because I'm negating the activation, I still get to have my battle phase because it wasn't, the effect never went through. So I triggered my other Dark Voltanis to summon the one from hand, getting rid of the Wonder Balloons, and now I can go off for game. I summon my Oracle first to destroy the face down monster, and at this point I already have game, but I decide to BM him a little bit, and I believe I summon Chief as well. Yeah, I go for the double summon, and I summon my Gravekeeper's Chief, get an Oracle back, and just attack him for game. This was a pretty random duel, but I just had to save this replay. It was so funny that I actually got out of that lockdown. Here we go, 1900, 2000, and then the boss, 2800. It's kind of a shame that Dark Voltanis is it's a fairy, so you can run like Yami with it to power him up. But anyway, let's go on to our next replay. I'm gonna skip Weevil. I'll come back to it if we have time. I saved that Weevil because my opponent was using a pretty cool deck, but I don't actually get Dark Voltanis out in that one, so I'll skip it for now, and depending on how we're doing on time, I might show it at the end. Alright, so this is against Atea, that's using Holy Guard.
It's time to duel.
So I go first, I set Divine Wrath and set my Priestess in defense mode. I do have my monster in hand, so that's good. I believe at this point I've already switched to the deck that has 3 of them. I set my Riryoku field, so I'm going to be able to pop my Soul Exchange and go for my Voltanis split. She attacks with Jerry Beans. I lose my Priestess, but luckily enough I draw into Recruiter, so I go for the Soul Exchange negate play, target the Jerry Beans, pop my Riryoku field, and then I tribute my Recruiter. And I was actually trying to get rid of the face down here, but I guess I clicked on his Jerry Beans, so that's what I end up destroying. And I get a search of my Recruiter. I just pick one more Recruiter, and then I attack his face down. He's a double custom, and as you can see, it does use a lot of your resources, but I don't know, it's just so cool when you're able to get it out. She goes for Senju. I could have negated that, but I wanted to wait in case it was relinquished. I wanted to save Divine Wrath for that. She's actually using the spellcaster ritual. I can't remember her name. Divine Grave. There you go. But she also has an effect that triggers as soon as she hits the field. So I go ahead and negate that with Divine Wrath. And basically she spent all of her resources and has nothing on the field. So I draw into Soul Exchange, I attack for 28. Just end my turn. She summons War Digraph. It kind of screamed Mirror Wall right there, but I still attack just because I don't know. I don't know. I probably shouldn't have attacked because that could have been a Mirror Wall, but I had a Riryoku field and a Soul Exchange, and I felt like she had already spent most of her resources, so I wasn't too worried. Sure enough, it wasn't anything. I summoned Jester just in case, and in case she has a Grivo, so I still get lethal.
I can never defeat you.
So like I said, Gravekeepers on their own are already a really strong deck. When you back them up with all this counter traps, you know, they're even better. So that's why this deck was able to win a lot of games, or a last replay is gonna be against Joey Wheeler.
Here I go.
I think I saved this replay because I actually pulled Dark Voltanis off twice. So anyway, I have a Ryoku field. I set my recruiter and just end turn. He goes with 4 Shard of Greed, sets 1 card, and then destroys my recruiter with Warrior of Zera. I go ahead and search for my Chief, since I already have another recruiter in hand. I have double summon, so I go for my Chief play, because I'm just gonna get recruiter right back. And then I also get to search, I think I got another Chief, I can't remember. Oh, I got Priestess, okay. So I try to attack with my Chief. He flips a Metamorph, so we both get destroyed. But that's okay, I'm kind of winning the resource battle. And I just attack for 1200 my recruiter. So he draws once, summons Axe Raider, destroying my Gravekeeper recruiter. I search for Chief because my Priestess is gonna have enough defense to survive. However, I draw into Soul Exchange, so I decide to go for the Voltanis play instead. Activate Soul Exchange, negate with Ryoku field. Tribute my Priestess, and then I prioritize the resource over life points, so I actually get rid of the Shard of Greed instead of the Axe Raider. And then I just destroy his Axe Raider. And my turn. He sets 1 back row. I could have gone for a Chief play, but I decided to roll with the 2800 beater. I finally get an Econ, so if he summons anything face up, I'll actually go for Econ take Chief, which I believe he ends up doing. And also because he summons in attack mode and sets a face down. So I have a way to play around Mirror Wall, that's why I decided to do it. In the previous game I didn't really have a way to play around it, so that's why I went ahead and attacked, but here I can be extra careful, so I go ahead and do that. I Econ take, tribute for Chief, get my Priestess back to try to go for game. He flips over Mirror Wall, so I'm not going to have enough damage to finish the game. But I still attack for some damage, getting him under 2000 so that he can't play for Mirror Wall. And then he top decks Amazonas Fighter, destroys my Priestess. I draw into Ryoku field. I attack with my Amazonas. I attack this Amazonas Fighter. He doesn't take any damage because of her effect. And then he top decks Warrior Digraph. Attempts to equip Black Pendant, but I have Magic Drain. Ryoku field would have worked also. It didn't really matter which card I activated. So because I negate his Black Pendant, I'm able to summon my second Voltanis, destroying his monster and his last resource. So once he ends his turn, I can just attack directly, and that's the game. Here we go. Yeah, so unfortunately we're very close to 20 minutes, so I'm not gonna have time to show you the Weevil replay. This duels kind of went a little long just because anytime you're using a lot of traps, you're not as aggressive. But anyway, there's the deck. I hope y'all enjoy it. As always, like, comment, and subscribe if you want. And till next time.